In this video, we'll demonstrate how you can use the new container types in a UX component. So these container types are card navigator, card header, and card footer. So we'll start out by just demoing, and then we'll go back and look at how we built this component. So you can see here we have a card navigator, and then inside this card we have two cards, and we're going to basically navigate within the card navigator using transitions. So in this case, we're going to use a flip transition. So you can see we're flipping from card 1 to card 2. We can also basically slide from card 1 to card 2, or we could, so this is basically doing a slide left to right, and this is going to be doing a slide up. So we're sliding between card 1 and card 2 over here. So let's go back now to the designer and see how this was done. So you can, first of all, you can see when we add a container to a component, we have a whole bunch of new container types. We have card footer, card header, and card navigator. So a card navigator can only contain cards in addition to a card header and card footer, and then a card itself can have a card header, a card footer, and then any other controls that you want. So you can see here's our first card from there to there, and this card has a header which is 1 inch high and has a background color of blue, it also has actually it doesn't have anything in the footer, and then it has a list control which is set to fill the container. So in this case, when we say fill the container, we only mean the space between the header and the footer. So then we have the next card over here called card 3, and this also has a list control that is also set to fill the card. And then finally we have this card navigator over here, which is set to basically center horizontally and also center vertically, and also it has a border around it that is a gray box with a box shadow and rounded corners. So you can basically choose from these predefined border styles, or you can go to the card style and define any border style that you want. So in this case, you can see here it says border solid 2 pixel green, but that's not being used because it's being overwritten by the container border defined there. If we had gone and chosen a default, then we would have been using the style that's defined over there. So now what we have is a card header inside this card navigator, and then so this card header is going to stay fixed as we transition from one card to the next. Then we have the first card, and then we have the second card, and then we have these buttons that do the transition. So you can see these buttons are done through action JavaScript. So you can see there's a card navigator action, and the card navigator action can either basically navigate to a different card or get information about the state of the card navigator. And by the state we mean which card would be the card that you navigate to if you click the next button, whether you're currently on the first or the last card within the card navigator, etc. So in this case, we're choosing a navigate to card action. The card navigator that we're talking about is card navigator number 1. Our target card can be either any of the physical cards within the card navigator, or these special targets called alpha anywhere next loop. So next loop means that if you're currently on the last card and you go to the next card, it'll go to the first card automatically. Whereas if you're on the last card and you say next, it'll do nothing because you're already on the last card. Then previous loop, first, last, and then the physical cards, card 1 and card 2 and card 3. And then we can specify what our transition type is. So the transition can be either slide left, slide right, slide up, slide down, or flip left to right, flip right to left, flip top to bottom, or flip bottom to top. So we've chosen flip right to left here. We've specified that the duration of the transition is 300 milliseconds, and we could, but we haven't needed to define an on transition complete event which will fire once the transition has been completed. So then we can see we have another button over here which is doing the exact same thing, but it's using a different transition type. It's using slide left. So let's go ahead now and run this. So if we go flip and then slide, so these are doing slides, this is doing slide up over there. And then if we go look over here, we can see that card 2 has a header, and the header has basically been set to center the text horizontally and also center the text vertically, etc. So the ability to add cards and card navigators allows you to create some very nice looking user effects in your UX components. Thanks very much for watching.